my team were, I would say, working under the NHS contract. We were a very overworked team. Everyone was very stressed, had very long days, busy days, constantly going from one patient to another. Nurses were, having to turn around instruments very quickly, and rushing. And I think by the end of the day, you could see in everyone's faces that they'd had a very busy day, very long day, very stressful day. Dentists would be the same, really struggling to kind of keep up with note taking, and seeing the patients, trying to deliver treatments in short appointment times, and deliver consultations in that time is always challenging. It's challenging anyway without the time kind of constraints, really. But yeah, working under the NHS, that's how we felt. Reception was very busy. Receptionists, with answering the phones continuously, as well as dealing with patients at the front desk. So yeah, I would say general consensus was everyone was very stressed and found it very hard work. I think as a team, we always enjoyed, seeing patients and communicating with patients and the interaction with patients. I think when you're not being allowed the time to engage with the patients as you want to, then I think that's why people would feel stressed, because they knew they could give more, really. So I think when we decided to convert the practice, that was definitely a big factor in converting. And we held lots of team meetings about it, and I think everyone felt that they wanted to convert and wanted to go private, for the basis of having a more easier day, from a patient flow perspective through the practice. Doesn't mean that we don't work hard, we still work hard, but it's, I think, seeing less patients, definitely people are enjoying being at work a bit more now. Dentists have come and said to me that they actually enjoy their dentistry again, and they're learning new skills, which we weren't really doing as much of before. And my team are definitely, at the end of the day, everyone's now kind of less stressed, ready to go on time and not kind of leaving late and not finishing late into lunch and things like that. I think that it's been a positive change for the practice, really, and the staff. So it was done over several kind of team meetings, individual conversations with dentists, with team members, but a lot of it was done via team meetings. We would spend a lot of time talking about the impact it would have on the team, what the change would involve, what patients might say. We had a lot of support from PracticePlan in the build up to it. Frequently asked questions with the team members that they're likely to face, and we were given a lot of support in terms of handouts and things like that as well. So that was good, and that was really helpful. So I think the team were very well prepared by the time we came to it. I think any reservations that they may have had, or to be fair, they were very little anyway, were probably well kind of answered before they got to that point. And then by the time we came to the conversion, actually the team were great at dealing with the patients and answering the questions, and I think that kind of preparation was really important for that. From a dentist point of view, some reservations might have centered around, what would happen with pensions and things like that. So we did speak to Wesleyan, and they kind of gave us advice on that, and that was offered out to the dentists as well, to kind of, make them aware that they've thought about everything from a financial perspective that was going to affect them. They're not going to get things like, maybe protected pay so much if they're on maternity leaves or, sick and things like that. So they had to take all of that into account. So yes, those things were dealt with, having independent financial advice. How is that going to affect them? To be fair, I think the dentists were really up for the change, and really wanted that. So I think those things were minor reservations and things like more administrative, I would say, rather than things that were going to ever stop us changing, really. what we'd done when we went back to work after COVID, we'd effectively done a principal-led conversion. So I was seeing private patients only in my diary, and the rest of the team were seeing the NHS patients. So actually, they were able to see what that was like. The nurses could see what my day was like compared to working in an associate's day. And reception because at that point, we were having so many private inquiries. And so reception dealing with those inquiries and dealing with patients who were having that treatment, they could see how different the interaction was with those patients as well. So actually it was almost as though, that was their live introduction to, this is what it's going to be like if we went fully private. You're actually going to have, instead of that mixed bag of different patients, we're just going to have that one bag, and we can concentrate on that, and all the time goes into that, really. So yeah, I think the feedback I was getting was, the nurse, especially the nurses, would say, it's been a much more enjoyable day being in the surgery with you, because we've been less rushed off our feet and been managing to stick to time, managing to do all of our compliance and logbooks and keep on top of everything as we should do, and not feel like they're going to get into trouble because they've missed a day because they finished late and things like that. So yeah, that definitely helped. So we're nearly 12 months post conversion, and you definitely notice peaks and troughs in how we see patients, how income comes into the practice. However, I think as a general mood in the practice, it's definitely a happier place. And I think that rubs off on the patients as well. You can see when the team members are they're spending more time talking, and, they're able to give relevant information over the phone when they need to, and not have that kind of two people waiting at the reception desk feeling for them while they're doing it. And it's allowed us to develop more in the practice, and team members want to do more. I've been able to give pay rises to staff, which I've struggled to do beforehand. So all of that has become, I think they've really enjoyed that side of things, clearly, and it's been more rewarding for them. So I think they have seen the benefits of changing as a result of that. Yeah.